right now.
From fugitive to a free man in just a matter of months. Tonight, an accused murderer is out of jail, and the mother of one of the people he was accused of killing is wondering why justice has failed her son. This Asian buffet had a variety of health code violations, including a dead rodent and roaches. Tim Gerber tells us what else was found behind the kitchen door. But first, reports of a second indictment against former President Donald Trump. This time, the charges are federal. That is a first for a former or current U.S. president. ABC News sources say this indictment is related to how Trump handled classified documents after leaving office. Tonight, the former president denying all of those allegations. He reportedly faces at least 7 charges. Sources say those charges include the willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or record, corruptly concealing a document or record, concealing a document in a federal investigation, scheme to conceal, and false statements and representations. Trump's attorney had this to say about the reported indictment tonight on CNN.
It does have some language in it that suggests what the 7 charges would be. Not 100% clear that all of those are separate charges, but they basically break out from an Espionage Act charge, which is ludicrous.
So how did we get here? Well, Trump has been at the center of a federal investigation focused on whether classified documents were in his possession once he left office, when he left the White House. The National Archives says it previously recovered at least 15 boxes of White House records from his Florida home, Mar-a-Lago. Trump's team said everything was turned over, but there were questions about anything being left still at that residence. That led to the FBI's search at Mar-a-Lago last August when it found nearly 100 classified documents. Trump responded to the indictment today in a video posted to the Truth Social platform tonight.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong, and we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years.
He also posted a statement saying in part that he is due in Miami to appear in federal court on Tuesday. 4 of the 7 charges carry a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison if convicted. This indictment comes just months after Trump's indictment in New York for falsifying business records there. Let's move on to a developing story now surrounding the embattled Texas Attorney General and one of his biggest supporters. Austin area real estate developer Nate Paul has been arrested. Paul has previously been named in corruption allegations associated with impeached Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. He was indicted on Tuesday, taken to jail in Travis County. Right now, we don't know what charges Paul is facing because his indictment is still sealed. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this story and bring you updates as new information comes into our newsroom.
This is not justice. This is ridiculous. I have to go visit my son at the San Jose burial park. This kid's going to run free.
Frustration from the mother of a murder victim. Now the charges have been dropped in her son's case. Christian Bermudez was arrested in March for capital murder. Tonight, he is a free man. But as the night team's John Paul Barajas explains, San Antonio police and that mother are not giving up.
I was having a good day today, and then hearing this news just really brought me down.
For Chastity Sanchez, good days are hard to come by since her son Gabriel's death in January. A 19-year-old was found shot to death alongside his girlfriend, 19-year-old Sanaya McNeil, at a hotel on the 3800 block of I-35.
This is a jab to the heart, you know?
Now the Bexar County District Attorney has dismissed capital murder charges against the man police believe is responsible. Online court records show the charges against 19-year-old Christian Bermudez were dismissed for, quote, insufficient evidence and, quote, further investigation needed.
Then do some further investigating. What more evidence do y'all need?
According to an arrest affidavit, San Antonio police say security video shows Bermudez run from the hotel room with guns in each hand. But a statement from the DA's office says, in part, our office must prove beyond a reasonable doubt to a Bexar County jury. The evidence necessary to reach beyond a reasonable doubt was incomplete.
The system's so jacked up. That's why your society is screwed. You know, they just like criminals. Let's just let them roam free.
SAPD tells us this case involved extensive investigative work by the homicide unit with video evidence linking the suspect to the scene, something Sanchez believes should have been sufficient. All she wants now is for officials to get justice for her son.
I go visit my son's gravesite every week, and I miss him so much.
Now, we want to remind you this is not a case closed. The DA's office says they will revisit the case once they get more details and more evidence. SAPD tells us their investigation will continue once they get the initial case report from the DA's office, which should include information for the dismissals. At the Paul Elizondo Tower, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Still have to feel for that grieving mother. Thank you, John Paul. Well, Governor Greg Abbott making a number of moves in Austin today that will affect our southern border. 6 bills signed by the governor. Some include giving Border Patrol agents more powers of arrest, search, and seizure, as well as giving Texas landowners money if migrants cause damage to their property while crossing the border. Today, Governor Abbott also announced what he calls a new water-based barrier. We're talking about these buoys. You see them right there? They're going to be deployed for miles down the Rio Grande. The governor says they're designed to keep migrants from crossing the border illegally.
What we're doing right now, we're securing the border at the border. What these buoys will allow us to do is to prevent people from even getting to the border. That process is beginning pretty much immediately.
Now, you can actually move these buoys, we are told, up and down the river as needed. Steve McCraw, director of Texas Department of Public Safety, says the first 1,000 feet of buoys are being set up near Eagle Pass because of an uptick in illegal crossings in that area. The search continues for 2 suspects who police say shot and killed a man. It's a story we brought you as breaking news last night on the Nightbeat. Actually happened on West Laurel Street near North Calaveras Street on the west side. That's where police say one of the suspects shot a man in the chest and then took off. The victim later died at the hospital. Officers still don't know what led up to the shooting. 2 SAPD supervisors have been temporarily removed from their jobs as punishment for their roles in a Helotes area bar fight last year. Surveillance video inside Pete's Place Spirits and More captures the incident playing out. You can read more about it right now on KSAT.com. All right, time now for a look at some of today's big headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. More than 20 teenagers recovering tonight after a wooden walkway collapsed. It happened in the town of Surfside, about an hour south of Houston. Officers there say the teens were at a summer camp when the collapse happened. At least 5 had to be airlifted to the hospital. We're told everyone who was hurt expected to be okay. Still unclear what caused that walkway to collapse. The main suspect in the 2005 disappearance of Natalie Holloway arrived in the U.S. from Peru today to face charges that he tried to extort the missing Alabama teen's mother. Joran Vandersloot is scheduled to be arraigned in federal court in Birmingham tomorrow morning. Holloway disappeared on the Caribbean island of Aruba. A judge declared her dead. Her body has never been found. Vandersloot is accused of seeking $250,000 from Holloway's mother in exchange for disclosing the location of the young woman's body. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash. All right, Spurs fans cannot seem to wait to see this guy in silver and black. I'm one of them. San Antonio won the first overall pick in the NBA draft lottery. By all accounts, they're expected to take Victor Wembanyama from France. It's the first time in 26 years the Spurs have held the number 1 overall pick, and that's why the team is holding a watch party on draft night. Happening at the AT&T Center, tickets are free, but having a ticket does not guarantee you entry. Admission will be on a first-come, first-served basis until the AT&T Center is at capacity. Draft night is on Thursday, June 22nd. As a reminder, we have watch party ticket information right now on our website, KSAT.com. Some brand new state-of-the-art technology coming to the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Antonio. Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages donating $320,000 to that organization to open 3 different technology labs at the club. This was the scene earlier today at the Calderon Clubhouse. Kids using that technology for the first time. Some of the amenities include 3D-oriented laptops and robots. Ada Sines, the CEO of the San Antonio Boys and Girls Club, says it's the first time that type of technology has been made available to the kids.
We have kids coming in here to utilize the space for the first time. They were blown away by how beautiful the space was, but they were even more blown away by the technology that they get to use now every single day.
Well, for us, giving back to the community is really important, that we give back to our communities. And, you know, for kids to have this opportunity to learn in a fun and exciting way is just something we're very passionate about.
The head of the Boys and Girls Club, again, her name is Ida Signs, went on to say technology is where the workforce is headed. She hopes the new gear will help give these kids a brighter future.
We had a low infection score?
Yeah, 73.
Okay.
So, okay.
This employee at a Westside Mexican food restaurant surprised to see Tim Gerber this week, even more surprised by the low score they got. The violations health inspectors found.
We had some large hail earlier today in some parts of town, and we'll take a look at some of that hail in the radar. Triple digits are in sight, and a drought monitor comparison. The new drought monitor is in. We'll see you in a bit.
And it is a wild dive. Local animal researchers getting a closer look at frogs at Natural Bridge Caverns, and they took us along for the ride. Happening right now, San Antonio police say they have made an arrest in the shooting and killing of a 2-year-old girl. This man, 17-year-old De'Aaron Turner, accused of shooting Mackenzie Hernandez Garcia at a home on Future Drive 1 month ago today. Turner faces a capital murder charge. Police say he fired the shot that hit the little girl while she was standing inside that home near the front door. At the time, Chief William McManus said police had a lead on a suspect, and 2-year-old Mackenzie was not believed to be the target. Police say they hope to find and make additional arrests in this case soon. When you go to a buffet, you have a lot of choices. Well, an inspector found a smorgasbord of health code violations at a Southside Asian buffet. They were hit with 20 violations, including a dead rodent and roaches. The night team's Tim Gerber tried to get some answers about their nearly failing score, but the manager disappeared behind the kitchen door.
Kin's Cafe, located in the 7800 block of IH-35 South, saw their score drop 18 points in just 4 months, going from an 89 in January all the way down to a barely passing 71 in May. The sushi on the buffet line was too warm. Fly traps with pests stuck to them were found right above the food prep area. There was a dead rodent and roaches stuck to a glue trap in the pantry. Raw chicken was being stored next to cooked chicken. They had numerous plumbing problems that needed to be fixed. Employees weren't wearing hair restraints, and the kitchen needed a deep cleaning. The employee bathroom also needed to be cleaned and sanitized. The manager said it wasn't being used, but the inspector wrote it had a foul stench and evidence it was being used. Hello. I had plenty of questions for the business.
I just wanted to follow up because it's been about a month to see if you guys had the re-inspection and to see if you corrected some of the problems like the roaches and rodents and the flies.
This worker said she'd be right back. I waited while other workers recorded us, but the woman never returned.
Coming back? No? Okay. Probably not? All right.
Before leaving, I noticed the business was displaying the wrong score. A re-inspection was ordered. Mi Mexico restaurant in the 3100 block of South Star Zamora got a 73. Chicken and fajitas cooked the day before were improperly cooled. Other foods in cold hold units were too warm. A worker was preparing food without gloves. Tortillas were being stored in grocery-style to-go bags. And the floors were in need of a deep cleaning. A curious worker came out to see why we were there.
We had a low infection score?
Yeah, 73.
Okay.
So, did you guys, do you know if you made the corrections?
I believe so. We always work on it. Yes, sir.
The business was scheduled for a re-inspection. Culebra Meat Market, located in the 4600 block of South Flores, got an 81. They needed to thoroughly clean the inside of the ice machine as well as display windows and sliding doors. They were using Foca laundry detergent to clean dishes and utensils. Drain pipes were spraying and leaking water. Ceiling tiles above the bakery and meat market were peeling and had exposed insulation that needed to be fixed. A re-inspection was ordered. For BKD, Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
From food to frogs, tonight we're getting a rare look at frogs in their natural environment, all part of a 3-week habitat surface survey to determine how many species of frogs are at or near Natural Bridge Caverns. Our crews tagged along and dove into the waters at the Wiest family ranch. They came across leopard frogs, cricket frogs, Gulf Coast toads, just to name a few. And one of the ways local biologists are identifying the frogs, by the sounds they're making. They say the recent rain is helping the overall population. I bet it is. Probably what isn't helping so much, there are actually hailstorms out there today, Adam.
Yeah, we did earlier today between noon and 3 p.m. We had some hailstorms. Let's take a look at some of the photos we got, and then I'll show you where this all fell. But this is just a good illustration of how large the hail was. And this next to the ruler indicates about 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inch diameter hail, about the size of golf balls in some spots, and damage causing on the gazebo there. You look at it compared to a quarter, and yeah, ping pong ball size up to golf ball size. And that's what we had today. Here's a look at the radar from earlier. And by the way, we do have some small storm chances we'll get into, but this is the radar earlier today. Notice the time on Authority radar. This is in the afternoon, but that shows the storms that move through. And if you just want to isolate the hail sections of this storm, here we have it on Authority radar, moving from roughly Fredericksburg down to Bulverde to Garden Ridge to Selma Schertz, and then really fell apart once it hit I-10 and crossed over I-10. The whole storm fell apart, and it did dump some rain along that path, of course, between 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches, largely within this green area here north of San Antonio. Going forward, just a 10% chance the next couple of days. We're talking slim chances, highly isolated, and notice now we're getting into a fairly dry pattern. It's been a while that we've had so many 0% chances on the map, but the heat high is going to be settling in, and we're looking at just typical sunny summertime weather around here for an extended stretch. Now, I want to talk about our drought monitor. It's Thursday, so the new one's in. This is not the new one. This is May 1st, but check this out. Boom, we fast forward to now. We put a big dent in it, even big improvements compared to last week at this time. But you look at it compared to May, and it's even more of a significant, basically, decrease in the area of drought. We still have some work to do. Unfortunately, parts of the hill country, Kerrville, Sisterdale, over towards Spring Branch, Fredericksburg, Bandera. This is an area where we've had some decent rainfall, just not enough to put a big dent in the drought. And it's this lone bullseye of extreme and exceptional drought across the state. What we have right now is this upper level high, the Big Blue H. That's just west of Mexico. That's going to be creeping its way into town and doing its usual thing, pressing down on us, warming up the air a bit more, and preventing any showers or storms, or really much in terms of clouds, from developing. So look at our temperature trend. Today, we topped out at 91. The average is 92. Tomorrow, we're up to 97. 98 by Sunday, 99 on Monday. Basically, triple digits are within sight, and we are expecting our first 100-degree day as we get into next week. Really quickly, that smoke in New England, the upper level high, is going to keep that all away from us. It's going to continue to circulate over parts of the East Coast and New England because of those Canadian wildfires. So that stays out of our area. I know you've seen that on the national news. 73 in the morning, 97 and sunny in the afternoon, just that 10% chance. But keep in mind, it's going to be warmer closer to the Rio Grande. Eagle Pass 101. Cotulla 105 tomorrow afternoon. So we're starting to feel real summer creeping back in.
Yeah, June's starting to feel like it. Thank you, Adam. All right, let's talk baseball. And hi, Live Cam.
Hello, Live Cam.
Let's talk about baseball and the fact that Bernie Champion trying to play for a championship.
Yes, so Champion is playing Argyle right now in the 5A state semis. That contest started late because lightning up in the Round Rock area pushed everything back. So because of that, that game is still in progress. Plus, we're going to introduce you to Bernie Greyhound's new head baseball coach coming up. Bernie Champion is playing Argyle in the UIL Class 5A state semifinals tonight at Dell Diamond in Round Rock. Lightning pushed back the schedule, so this game did not start until 8:20 p.m. Top of the first inning, Jordan Ballin looking to steal third base. The Eagles catcher throws to third, but the ball is high and into left field. Ballin runs home and slides in ahead of the throw, and Champion leads 1-0. Score that as an E2. Top two now. Champion strikes again. Gage Goldberg hits one over the third baseman's head and fair. Grant Kinsel scores from second base, and Champion leads 2-0. Now, last check, Bernie Champion and Argyle were tied at 2-all in the bottom of the fifth inning. We'll have more tomorrow at 5. We caught up with Bernie Greyhounds' new head baseball coach Jeff Curtin tonight at Dell Diamond. He's there supporting the Chargers. Coach Curtin has taken over after Bill Merrill retired following the Greyhounds' season-ending loss in the 4A regional final to Sinton.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, it's a great program with rich tradition. You know, I'm looking forward to the challenge and kind of, you know, putting my own imprint on the program. You know, but continuing to build off their legacy and the foundation that Coach Merrill set, and you know, the tradition that they have.
Coach Curtin joins the Greyhounds after spending the last 9 years at McCollum High School, including the last 6 as head baseball coach. San Antonio FC is coming off a 3-3 draw against the San Diego Loyal SC. San Antonio scored 3 quick goals, but had to settle for 1 point. KSAT 12 sports producer Daniel Villanueva spoke with defender Mitch Tainer today to get a preview of their next game against El Paso Locomotive FC.
Mitchell Tainer drives one in, headed, and just like that, in the opening minutes, Tanny Oluwaseyi's got his first goal at Toyota Field.
Yeah, I think we started unbelievably well with 3 goals in 16 minutes, and obviously the red card really hurt us. And you know, it's really difficult to play 80 minutes with including stoppage down to man. You know, happy to score and help the team. Just a disappointing ending. You know, we never wanted to end like that. Never want a guy sent off. So difficult circumstances, but you know, I thought that we could have done better on a lot of those goals that they scored. So you know, it comes down to individual accountability and learning for the next game.
Talk about this upcoming match against El Paso, and what is it take to get a win to close out this homestand?
Yeah, they're a hot team right now. They've 7 wins in a row, 10 undefeated overall. So you know, they're a really dangerous team. But you know, I don't think we fear anyone. We respect all our opponents, but I don't think we go into games feeling any fear. We're San Antonio. We believe in ourselves. We believe in what we're doing, and we should have full confidence going forward. Base news yesterday. You got a very big soccer star coming to Miami. What does you think that does for U.S. soccer in general? And just the eyes that's on soccer here in the United States? Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, especially in the Open Cup too. I think probably a lot of people tuned in to that Birmingham-Miami game last night, which is great exposure for the USL. And yeah, hopefully we get to draw Miami next year in the Open Cup. Good luck on Saturday. Thank you. Larry, back to you.
Thank you, guys. SAFC will host El Paso Saturday night at 8 at Toyota Field. The Locomotive are winners of 7 straight.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans held one final practice today before their mandatory minicamp next week on the 13th and 14th. After spending 5 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, tight end Dalton Schultz signed a reported 1-year, $9 million deal with Houston. Coach Ryan feels Dalton is a great offensive addition.
What I like about Dalton's game is he's not just a one-trick guy. Like, Dalton does a good job in the blocking game. He also has great hands. He's always open, right? He's a big target that he's very quarterback friendly. So it's one thing playing against, going against Dalton a lot there in the NFC. He made a lot of big plays. So I'm excited to see what he can do for us here.
In baseball, the Astros looking to snap a 2-game slide after the break. Houston closing out their 4-game series tonight at the Toronto Blue Jays. Top of the second inning, Alex Bregman goes yard. Solo shot, his 9th on the season, travels 402 feet, and the Astros strike first, 1-0. They led 2-0, but could not hold the lead. Bottom 5, Brandon Belt comes through with a tie-breaking RBI single to right field for the final run of the night. Blue Jays win at 3-2, handing the Stros their 3rd loss in a row. They'll start a 3-game series tomorrow at Cleveland. And in Texas League play tonight at the Wolf, the Wind Surge beat the Missions by a final of 10-3.
Wind Surge.
I know. Come on.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry. We'll be right back. The State Fair of Texas is still months away, but we are learning some of the big names who will be performing there this year. Some names might be new to you. Some might be familiar. Big performers include CeeLo Green, Bowling for Soup, Lil Jon, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, plus many more. The State Fair will go from September 29th until October 22nd. You can see the full list of performers and when they perform on our website, ksat.com. Have a great night. See you right back here tomorrow.